Star Wars Rebels Season 1, Episode 12, Call to Action. The episode opens up with the Imperial March blasting, an Imperial transport flying across the sky, and Grand Moff Tarkin stepping out of the craft after it lands. Tarkin has come to Lothal to try and shut down the rebel problem. His dialogue was narcissistic and insulting, a very holier-than-thou attitude. It fit great. At one point, it is brought up that the leader of the rebel crew is a Jedi, and Tarkin looks over at the Inquisitor and says in a sarcastic tone, "It's a shame we don't have someone who specializes in dealing with them." This was a great line. Tarkin was never a pushover in A New Hope. He talked back to Vader like many other high-ranking officers did. And as soon as I saw Tarkin, I couldn't stop drawing this comparison. Am I the only one that sees the similarity? So, the crew of the Ghost watches a new broadcast from the double-crosser, Senator Travis. In this broadcast, he pretty much calls the crew of the Ghost insurgents, that he didn't intend for his message to evoke such violence, and he even offers a reward for their capture. Kanan says if Senator Travis can make a broadcast, why can't they? And they decide to create a broadcast and attempt to transmit it. But they can't just broadcast it from anywhere or they will be tracked. So they decide to break into an Imperial communications tower and broadcast the signal from there. The camera jumps back into the Imperial base, and we see the two Imperial officers who trained the cadets in an earlier episode. Tarkin is talking to them, saying that they failed. Very intimidating dialogue, very cutthroat and to the point. He talks about how the only thing that would make all of these rebel factions and groups across the galaxy a threat would be unity. And then you see the Inquisitor pull out his lightsaber, and he executes the two officers. And Tarkin says, "Make no mistake, from now on, failure will have consequences." I didn't really like seeing classic characters brought into Rebels in earlier episodes, but seeing Tarkin really fits. He serves a purpose. He isn't there for filler or for the audience to go, "Hey, remember him?" He's the cleanup crew. He's there to get the job done. So the Empire dispatches probe droids on Lothal to find the rebels. And they end up finding out that they're planning to attack the communications tower. Tarkin wants the rebels to think that they still possess the element of surprise, so they don't reinforce the security at the tower. The rebels attack the tower, and the Empire is rolling in to retaliate in full force. Kanan tells the rebels to go into the tower and take the elevator up, and he stays on the ground floor outside of the tower. The Imperial troops arrive and Kanan shuts the door behind him. This was an awesome shot. Very emotional. Kanan faces what seems to be certain death. At this point, I expected him to die, to sacrifice himself. I guess I'll see if my suspicions are correct. The Inquisitor hops down, and Kanan, like a fucking badass, stares the Inquisitor in the face, turns his lightsaber around, and jams it into the door controls. So the Empire can't use the door and chase after the rebels. Kanan and the Inquisitor have another great lightsaber fight. Kanan is defeated and captured. The crew of the Ghost escapes and is able to broadcast a message. The Empire fires at their own communications tower to bring it down. There were some awesome shots spliced together of Ezra talking in the broadcast as the Empire's rockets get closer and closer to the tower. I loved this top-down shot of the rockets approaching. And then I realized, oh, is that a hidden Mickey? And then I looked into it, and it turns out there's a lot of hidden Mickeys in Rebels. Hey, I like Easter eggs like that. Lucas always had 1138 in his movies, Pixar always has A113 hidden in their movies, and Disney hides Mickeys. I like it. But this episode was fantastic. Tarkin was the perfect addition to the cast to give the Empire some fresh blood, and Kanan being captured while standing tall against the Inquisitor was great and very heroic. The only thing I wish was better was the actual broadcast that the rebels transmitted. I never do this, and I usually hate videos that say this is how this should have been done. But this is how I would have liked to see that last couple of minutes of the episode. And this is just me and my thoughts. So the rebels have a pre-recorded message spoken by Kanan. They pop it into the communications tower. The broadcast plays for the audience while the rebels are fighting to escape in slow motion. So we have this message of hope playing to us in Kanan's voice, juxtaposed with images of Kanan being defeated, and ending the episode with Ezra looking down from the rebel ship, horrified. And then the episode finishes on a huge cliffhanger. We wouldn't know if Kanan was killed or not. I think this would have been a more powerful ending, but hey, what do I know? I don't like when people say this is how it should have been, or I could have made that better. Bullshit. That's nothing but Monday morning quarterbacking or being an armchair general, but I had to share that because it was all I could think about when the credits rolled on screen. So forgive me. Thanks for watching my Star Wars Rebels review series. On to the next episode. Hello Greedo, out.
Always with you, what cannot be done.
It's like doing here.